You guys were asking for my updated build, so let's talk a little bit about everything that I've been playing with my Sorcerer for every element: light, fire, wind, freeze, and also for my harmony build. All of them updated. So as usual, hello the internet, welcome back to Waifus. I'm Sefhi, your favorite gambling addict, and today's topic is gonna be my builds for the Sorcerer. Now, obviously, for the people who don't have Nyx Arxon, you guys can remove this, ignore this, okay? And we can use either Seoletus if you have him, Chaos if you have him, or Herbote. Herbote is pretty good to push content because it allows you to heal. You can be a little bit more safe with it. If not, Seoletus pretty good for the extra damage you can be providing. So this is a up to you situation, right? I've been using a lot of Herbote and Seoletus, but the moment you unlock Nyx Arxon, he is the best pet to run. That's for the pet itself. When it comes to gear, really quickly for the priority on the stats, it's gonna be crit rate, crit damage, elemental mastery is your highest priority for more damage. Is those three. It's going to be the elemental mastery, crit damage, and crit rate. After that, you want to focus on both attack and speed. Both attack and speed are fantastic stats, and will make sure you are not falling behind when it comes on your turns and attacking consistently, right? And then after all of those, obviously, right, you can focus lastly on your effect hit rate and still having enough HP to not die. So that's the priority for the stats. If you guys prefer reading about everything, by the way, on the website you guys have it explained and with even more explanations than in this video today. All right, so that's for the Phantom one and for the really quickly stats. Let's talk about the sets that I've been using and all of the skills that I've been using. So I've been switching a lot, trying different builds, trying a lot of different content, and honestly at the moment what I've been enjoying the most is a few specific spells. The first one is Elemental Harmony. I use it on almost all of my presets, and you will see why. It's because the more spells of different types you use, the more elemental mastery you get. Right now I'm getting 1000 or 1.1, which is the same as using this, right? But if you are using it on a build with 4 different elements, then it's double of what a normal one would be giving you, of what a normal, for example, Heart of Flame would be giving you. So it's a really good increase in elemental mastery. Now, it's not necessary. You could still be running this one, and it's still giving 700 at Legendary, and it only gets better if you get more tips. So you can still run a normal elemental mastery, and you can also run a pure light build. I try to have hybrid builds, but if you want to be running a pure lighting one, your basic skill is going to be Lighting Chen, and then you will have 2 damaging spells, Flickering Stars, and the best spell runner for light, which is Light of Dawn. Really good damage, huge AoE, even though if it's only on a single line, right? Like huge AoE, and you can pair that with something like Energy Burst, and you will be increasing even more the accuracy and the damage, 50% more. So I usually don't like Energy Burst. I prefer to have another spell to deal damage, and that's what I've been using Elemental Mastery in here, Elemental Harmony with Wind and Light spells. This is my lighting build. I'm also using Mana Surge for the crit. I'm using Lighting Mystery for even more damage, and I've been using Void Bubble. Now, sometimes instead of Void Bubble, if I'm using a Wind spell, I will be using instead something like either Unstable Aura for more damage, or Wind Shadow to delay the target action if my spell has a lot of projectiles, like is the case for Wind Light. So both of them work, but if you want to be safe, Void Bubble is the best thing to be pushing. It's one of the few defensive tools you can get as a mage, and will help you with this extra 2 turns providing dodge, which is a 50% chance of not taking damage. All right, so pretty good charm. You can still be using Mana Search. You can still be using, like I said earlier, Elemental Mystery. Spells that I personally don't like are going to be the Elemental Resistance one, and it's going to be Inside. I don't think this effect hit rate is necessary, at least not for a Sorcerer, because the other spells provide you with a clear upgrade to your DPS, while Inside does not. Not as a stat, effect hit rate is good, just as a spell. Having more crit rate provides you with a clear damage upgrade. Having Lighting Mystery provides you with a lot of damage in contrast to just running something like Inside, right? So I don't like Inside. This is my current light build, and I like it quite a bit. Now we go into my freeze build. Once again, I've been running 50-50. I do not like freeze, or sorry, I do like freeze. This spell is the one I don't like, Ice Spike. You could still, however, run a pure ice build and it works. Okay, guys, you can still run something like this and have no problem. But I've been running a hybrid build because I can take advantage of both Deuce Blessing, and also Elemental Harmony. We'll be getting almost what, like 2000 Elemental Mastery, then I'm using Water to Ice, and then I'm using Lightning Mystery. If you are dying instead, what you can do is put the Void Bubble in here, remove the Elemental Mastery, and then switch back to something like Ice Spike, so you can be a bit more safe while having pure damage from one element, which will be proccing Water to Ice a lot. Water to Ice, funny enough, is still losing damage to something like Lightning Mystery because it works for any element. This spell right now, one of the strongest ones you guys can be running, honestly. Right? So that's for the priest build. Once again, it depends on how strong you feel and if you can survive without Void Bubble or not. To me, I'd rather take something like this, but there is like so many combinations that use this as a reference and adjust based on what you have. Now we go into Wind, and it's the same thing as before. 3 spells of one element and one different one. In this case, however, I am not running Elemental Harmony. The reason I'm using Lightning Chain is to have something to spam every turn, because every wind spell has cooldown. Your Cyclone has a cooldown, your Wind Light has a cooldown, and your Tempest Sphere has a cooldown. And your Iron Thorn has a cooldown here. So I prefer to run Lightning Chain just to have something to spam. And also, this is a fantastic spell damage-wise. Now, something that's changing here is that I'm using both together, Unstable Aura and also Wind Shadow. Wind Shadow provides decent damage. The chance to delay the target action is really good on bosses. And then, you're just going with the basic Wind Affinity instead this time of running Elemental Harmony, but you can run it as well. Okay, this is depending on how many dupes you have, because if you don't have it Mythic, it's not even the same, right? To me, it's the same right now at Mythic rarity. So if you don't have a Mythic one, ignore this, just go with your Wind Whisper and you're good to go. Now, before we talk about Harmony, I want to talk about the Fire build. As you guys can see once again, it's pretty similar to the other ones. 3 spells with cooldown, and then Lightning Chain just to have something you can spam consistently. Now, why these spells and not Fireball? Fireball is pretty good. It's actually pretty good damage, honestly. You can use it. I just like more the AoE of Fiery Star Trail. I really like the single target damage that Flame Beard can provide. So you could replace Blazing Fire Ring instead with something like Fireball. It works. Either spell works there, right? Now, when it comes to the charms here, important. We are using the Heart of Flame. We are using also Elemental Harmony. But we are only using one, Raging Wildfire. Previously, I recommended using Raging Wildfire paired with Flaming Path, but this is useless. So you cannot burn twice a tile. And Raging Wildfire will proc a lot more than Flaming Path, because Flaming Path is only while the caster is moving around, while this proc on every tile as long as you are using a technique. This means every single tile here can be proc on your Fiery Star Trail. This means every tile on this line will be able to proc. This means on the explosion here, every single tile can also get burned. So Raging Wildfire is an upgraded version of Flaming Path, but obviously it depends on the damage. As you guys can see, the burn damage at Legendary is 31% plus 2k, while here at Mythic is 52% plus 4k. Even with this, my Flaming Path deals no damage because the floor is already burned, so I cannot burn it again. It's useless. I'm losing damage. So that's why I removed it, and now we're only going for one of them. Alright? Now, you can still use both of them if you want, because there's a lot of RNG. You can still instead put your Void Bubble and remove your Elemental Harmony for more security. It depends on you and what you're doing. There is so many possible build combinations that, this is what I've been choosing myself. And I want to talk about my favorite build so far, and this is going to be the Harmony AoE build. Now, Harmony, I had usually 2, like a single target and an AoE version, but I've been using this one specifically for 99% of content currently in the game. Now, Harmony, 1 spell of each type. We're getting basically 2000 Elemental Mastery with this. We are using Lightning Mystery because this is doing more damage than a lot of my spells. We are using Unstable Aura for more damage. You could replace with Wind Shadow. You could replace with Water to Ice because we're using Water Assault, which means you can proc it still quite often. But Unstable Aura, in most situations, is the one that deals most damage after Lightning Mystery. Lastly, I'm using Mana Search, but this, just like every previous build, can be replaced with Void Bubble if you are dying, right? The crit is good, but play it safe and just make sure you can survive long enough to kill the enemies, right? So that works too. And then when it comes to spells, I've been using Lightning Chain. It's my favorite skill as a spammable skill. You could be using something like Water Shot instead. I've been using Flame Jet because for single target, it feels one of the strongest fire builds, but you can still be using either Fireball or Fiery Star Trail, both great skills. For Wind, in my opinion, the best spell is Wind the Light. Sometimes it falls off. You could be using something like Tempest Sphere. It's pretty good damage, 21.4%. This one is 32 plus 2k. But again, it depends on the situation. To me, I like more Wind the Light. And then when it comes to Water, honestly, I just like Water Assault. I think it's still one of the strongest spells. The Water Shot works, and you guys will see a different variation of the build on a second. But you can also run Frosty Nova. I just don't like Frosty Nova because the single reason there is a single hit, a big hit, but a single hit. While Water Assault can hit so many times, right, with subsequent hits, and proc a lot more your Unstable Aura and your Lightning Mystery. Now, if you don't have Lightning Change or you don't like it, you can instead do something like this, where we're using Light of Dawn, we're still using Winds the Light, we are still using Flame Jet, but we switch to Water Shot. And like I said earlier, then here you can just decide what you guys want to be running, and there is like so many different options for charms that at the moment it's gonna be based on how many dupes you guys have pulled rather than anything else. And that's basically everything for all of the builds currently that I've been running. Like I said earlier, for all content, in most situations, I just run this Harmony AoE build. The only thing I switch in and out is the Void Bubble for Mana Search when I need to survive more, right? So do let me know any questions you guys might have specifically about the build or stats or companions. Check the written version on the website if you need. And as usual, we are live every single day. Link in the description for everything. Good luck with your pool dinner rates, and I'll see you on the next one.